You are listening to the Robby Rowe Show. I'm your host, Robby Rowland. This is episode 61, part 3 with Casey Smith. Let's hear a soundbite from Casey.
I want to hit the ball as hard as I can. That's the intent. That's the intent to do damage. I want to hit the ball as hard as possible, as often as possible, okay? But when it's right, and I love hearing this every day in the cages when it clicks for guys, they will smash a ball, break their records, and they'll look at me and go, felt like I didn't do anything.
May I have your attention, please?
You're my leader.
Now listening to Clear the Mechanism.
The Robby Rowe Show.
The Robby Rowe Show.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Robby Rowland coming at you live. Part 3, the final part of Casey Smith podcast episode 61. I don't know if there's anything I need to say about the guy anymore, because I think we've all established that the dude is freaking just magnificent, knows what he's talking about, passionate, and all of the qualities that you want in an instructor, right? Especially from the hitting side. So, typical way to go about this, I will link the topics of this particular episode, part 3, in the show notes. So be sure to check that out before you hop on. You probably already did, but if you still want to know the topics, or if you want to skim to a certain topic, I'll link all of that in the show notes. But like I said, I got nothing else to say. This is part 3. It's been an absolute honor having Casey on the show. It was even hard to conclude this very end. I mean, you guys probably got the picture. Like, we're both very passionate about what we talk about, and when you're talking to another passionate guy, it's hard to just hop off. So absolutely loved my time talking with Casey on the show, and look forward to doing some more collaborations with him as we move forward. But for those of you who are not familiar with Casey still, be sure to follow him on Instagram, Outfront Hitting, OUTFRONT hitting, HITTING. It's always funny when I actually have to spell it out, like a word. It's hard. I don't know when the last time you had to spell something out on the spot, but it's not easy. I won't lie. I've had to edit some shows before because I've spelled it wrong or thought about it too long. Anyways, besides the point. Another sponsor I want to thank for this particular episode is Massage Guns, guys. If you take your recovery seriously, this is something that you might want to explore. I'll link the website for you guys to check out. I'll link their website and I'll link their Instagram account. This will be a new sponsor for me. They just sponsored a month worth of shows of the Robby Rowe Show, and really excited to have them on, actually. I'm a big believer in what their product is about, what it does. Obviously, if you guys want to learn more about that, you can go to their website. It's just massageguns.com. I'm not going to spell that out. But also their Instagram, Massage Guns, just go ahead and check it out. Again, I'll link that in the show notes. But, if you're interested in the product, I get you a discount. You just type in Robby, ROBBY, at checkout. But basically, just to give you a little background on them, it was created for the need for affordable home therapy. We have all these tools and these means to recover, and this just gives you guys another opportunity for all ages, all sports. It's definitely an investment towards your body and towards your career. I definitely, they sent me one, and geez, oh Pete, it's a wireless gun, and you just pull the trigger, hold it on a certain spot, that's tight and that you want to break up that scar tissue, and shoot, man, it freaking gets going. It increases blood flow, clears lactic acid, breaks up scar tissue, releases knots, increases range of motion, and it speeds up the recovery process. So it's got a big highlight for them is they got 45 percussions per second. So that makes it the fastest and the strongest percussion gun on the market. So definitely check that out. It's got 3 arm positions, 90 degrees, 135 degrees, 180 degrees. You can lock the trigger so you don't have to hold the dang thing down the whole time. But like I said, they sent me one. I'll make sure to take some video on it. Maybe put the video in the show notes. But what you can find in the show notes is their website, their Instagram, the discount code if you're interested in exploring that option. So thank you thank you to Massage Guns for sponsoring the show, and hopefully you guys will explore that and have it benefit your career or your recovery or your training or whatever it is that you utilize it for. So without further ado, let's get to part 3 of episode 61 with Casey Smith. Thank you guys for tuning in, and hope you enjoy the show. I want to spend a little bit more time, man, if you can, talking about, because as a pitcher, we talk about how we identify hitter strengths and weaknesses, whereas I want to kind of give you the floor to talk about like identifying the pitcher, because you're talking about the north to south movement, identifying what kind of his strengths are, knowing that in the back of your head as a hitter, that's kind of where he's maybe going to attack you. So, or as a hitter, obviously with the whole fastball up in the zone type thing, setting your sights there, that's going to totally vary. Say you're facing me and I'm a sinker slider guy. I know you touched on it briefly, but now are you going to change your sights to saying, okay, his hot maps is 74%, down to the zone. So now that's going to change your sights as a hitter, or are you sticking with your plan?
100%. No, my plan is going to vary on a day-to-day basis. Now I have a basic approach on I want to drop the baseball.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's interesting because like what we're talking about right now, as a high school guy, you don't have this information.
Yeah.
So,
well, maybe nowadays, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. There's a lot more data down there, but
yeah,
it's not
right.
as detailed.
Right.
But the pitching's also not as good.
Right.
So we can talk about the big league approach, and then we'll talk about the lower levels for both sets of hitters. But yes, if I got a guy that's down in the zone, the ball sinks, he's a slider guy. Yeah, I'm gonna hunt the ball down, and I'm gonna try to stay under it. And,
yeah.
I mean, because what's he trying to do? He's trying to get me to swing over the top of the baseball and hit the ball on the ground.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna set my sights at a certain place, and I'm gonna try to make sure that I stay below the ball with my barrel path, and keep him from doing what he's trying to do to me. I also would probably set my sights down in the zone, but make him elevated away from his strength. So, like, if he's starting it at the knee and going down, I'm going to make sure that if I'm going to pull the trigger, I set that sight around like top of my thighs, because that's the ball that I know is going to stay in a place where I can hit it. Versus if that ball starts at my knee, that's the pitch I'm going to swing and miss or hit into the ground.
Right.
Yeah, and you can't go out there every day and try to do the same thing from an approach standpoint, and you have to have enough body control and swing awareness to be able to vary that on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, yeah.
If you all right, well, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to do. Well, okay. Well, when you run into a guy that falls into your approach, you're going to have a really good day. But you run into a guy that doesn't, you're going to go 0 for 4.
Yeah. And it's going to be an ugly 0 for 4.
Right. And, dude, that's why the Red Sox were so successful, man, is like as a team with Alex Cora and then hires, like they bought into being an offense that was able to have variability on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
They were able to take who they are as a team, take what they do as hitters, and then vary it slightly day to day to be successful against whoever they were facing. Because you're not going to take the same approach against Dallas Keuchel and Clayton Kershaw that you do against Justin Verlander.
Totally. Yeah.
Like, it's completely different. So, if you try to take the same approach, well, you might have success against one of them, and then the other guy's going to throw a 2-hit shutout.
Yeah, and you want, as a player, dude, and this, is like, it's about consistency, man. Like, no one, if you get deemed as the guy that, like, at any given time can go, 2 for 4 with 2 homers, but then that he's going to probably go the rest of the week without a hit, versus, like, the guy that's, maybe goes 1 for 3 or just gets on base or whatever it is, each and every game, like that guy has so much more value. And that goes
100%.
with varying approaches and just understanding and really at the end of the day, just putting yourself in the best possible situation to succeed.
Well, and I'm gonna sound based on the the new age analytics and all this kind of stuff, which is great, but I'm gonna sound really old school right now. I'm still a batting average guy. Like, yeah,
you can't be both, man. You can't.
Yes, you can. Like, why not? Like, bro, if I'm hitting 240, like if I'm hitting 240, my on base, like, what's the goal at the end of the day is to score runs. Try to score runs. Okay, so if I'm hitting 240 and my on base percentage is 260, guess what? I'm not on base.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Like
value.
I mean, now, great. Like, why is a run scored more or less valuable based on how it happened?
It's not.
It's not.
In a team aspect, it's not.
Right. Now, as an individual,
yeah.
Okay. Hey, but you know what? If I'm hitting 300 and I'm hitting 35 home runs, guess what all those numbers are doing? They're really what? Hey, and I'll use Chris Davis and Mike Trout as a comparison.
Sure.
Okay. If Mike Trout hit 240 every year, would he be the best player in baseball?
Negative Ghost Rider.
No chance on earth. Do you know why he's the best player in baseball? Because he hits 300. Because he does it all. He hits 300 every year. And guess what? When you hit 300 and you hit homers, all of those other numbers are there. Mm-hmm. All right. Barry Bonds, like, I don't care if steroids or not. Barry Bonds, probably the greatest hitter to ever play the game.
Right.
Okay. Did he hit 240? No. Never. No. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Mookie Betts, all right, MVP. He won the batting title.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like,
Miguel Cabrera, dude, like, we can go on all day about these guys. Yeah. Dude. They just do it all. It's consistent. It's just good hitters.
And so I had I understand this. Having to me, the ability to work with big leaguers, to me, is a blessing. Like, it's not like it's such a privilege to me to have that chance to get to work with big league guys that I'm thankful every day for it. And I had the privilege of working with two guys, one that I actually coach and have coached for 5 years now. And the other one I just had the privilege of being in the cage with for 2 years was DJ LeMahieu and Charlie Blackmon. Right. Won back-to-back batting titles, okay? And, you take – people say average doesn't matter, but, like, if you look at what DJ was able to do for the Rockies the year he won the batting title, like, the guy was on base all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, and so when you're on base all the time, who cares if he's not hitting 30 homers? Like, when you're on base that much and you have Charlie Blackmon and Nolan Arenado and Trevor Story in your lineup, like, why do you think the Yankees just signed him?
In Colorado.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why do you think the Yankees just signed him? Is because you got that lineup, and now you got a guy that's going to be hell on pitchers, all right? He's going to be on base all the time. He's going to hit 300. And in that ballpark with his approach, he's probably going to run into more homers than he's ever hit because he's got a short porch and right. Mm-hmm. Okay. And Charlie's the same way. Like, if do you think Charlie would have gotten $100 million contract if his batting average was 240 with 37 homers versus 330 with 37 homers?
Mm-mm.
No. Uh-uh. So, like, I don't know why they're taking value away from. Is there more to it? Yes, and where you get into it is the guy that's hitting, 270 with 25.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where it's like, okay, but when you have the extremes, like, 220, 230 versus 330, like, there's no compare. Like, batting average is still.
It's such a misconception today, too, right? Like, because we see the guys that are striking out a ton and hitting homers and getting paid. And those are the guys that get the highlight, that highlights.
Right.
Rather
but
than,
hey, Trout strikes out a lot.
Right.
But when he does hit the ball, he hits, and Judge is the same way, but Trout had some years where he struck out more than others, but he's not like a non-strikeout guy. Like, strikeouts are going to happen. They're part of the game. They have to be accepted, but it can't be, oh, well, I struck out. Like, this is my thing. strikeouts hold value in certain situations. And so this is where I started taking an approach. A strikeout is a good or bad thing depending on the situation. All right. If I got a runner at first base and 1 out, or a runner at first and third and 1 out, and I hit a weak ground ball at the big leagues, all right, that's worse than a strikeout.
Totally.
Why? It's a double play.
Yeah. Totally.
Okay. So in that situation, yeah, man, I'm in nuke mode. Like, I need to drive this baseball or it's going to cost my team 2 outs. Okay. Mm-hmm. But if you have a runner at third with less than 2 outs, you put the ball in play. You're going to score a run. Mm-hmm. Like now it's a time where I can't have the same approach. I have to adjust. And it doesn't mean I'm not trying to hit the baseball hard. And it doesn't mean I'm trying to hit the ball on the ground. It just means I cannot afford to strike out in that situation.
Yeah, it's identifying the situation, and I mean, obviously, as a baseball player in general, like, we have to do the whole in-game adjustment thing as it is. So I think it's interesting to me too, because like as a fan of the game and just watching it, from decade to decade, it's like you're not seeing the David Ecksteins just kind of choking up on the bat with 2 strikes, just putting in play anymore. The Votto type, I guess you could say. You're seeing like guys getting huge, like you kind of described earlier, even in 0-2 counts. Why is that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
and I think it's because because they're going to get paid if they hit the ball at the ballpark.
Right. Yeah.
Like. But what's funny
which is why, sorry for interrupting, but which is why from a pitching standpoint, like we're licking our chops, man. Like that's why you're seeing all these strikeouts.
Let's go. Yeah, exactly. And it's also why, and nothing to knock the pitchers, but you guys don't have to pitch. You just need to throw hard.
Basically.
Like the Greg Maddixes and the Tom Glavines of the world are not around right now because to get hitters out, you just need to be able to throw it by them and have some nasty stuff
it's
in
stuff,
a general.
Yeah.
It's stuff.
It's stuff.
It's not pitching.
Which it's everywhere now.
Right. And look, you have to play into the way the game is today. Like if you try to butt the system, then you may not get paid. Like so, I understand it as a player's perspective. Like, look, man, like I want to stay around. This is what they're telling me I need to do. Okay, like that's what I need to do. But what's interesting is I look at it at the minor league level. Okay, and this is where there's a disconnect. Is you look at the prospect reports and how many prospects are you seeing get to the big leagues that are a consistent 220 hitter at the minor league level with 180 Ks, but they hit 25, 30 home runs.
Exactly, yeah.
So they're preaching at the minor league level, oh, you can't strike out, you can't strike out, you can't strike out. And then get to the big leagues, hey, it's okay to strike out and hit the ball in the ballpark.
Yeah, well, those guys will fade out. That's what they see as going with the disconnect is like the per level to level. Like I saw, from a couple guys, and you've seen it too, like from rookie ball that kind of have that same little process, and then the next year they're in low A, and it kind of gets worse or better from a different standpoint, I guess, depending on how you look at it. And then high A, the strikeouts go up, homers lower, and then it kind of just keeps going on.
Because the pitchers get better.
Yeah.
And so but at the big league level, like, why would I not look at Mookie, look at the best players in the game, right? They hit around 300, Yelich, Mookie, and they hit for power. Guess what? If I have a ton of JD Martinez, if I hit for a ton of power, okay, and I'm Judge or whoever, okay, the more times that my barrel touches the baseball, the better opportunity I have to hit more homers.
Yeah.
Like, I can miss baseballs if I'm a guy like that and hit balls out of the ballpark. So why not take an approach in a 2-strike situation? And you know what? I'm just going to find barrel. Like, I'm going to hit a backspin line drive somewhere. I'm going to stay within myself, and I'm going to battle this dude. And I'm going to do – and instead of like, you know what, I'm in nuke mode, and if he makes a mistake, like, why not take that pitcher's pitch and get your knock, all right? And then, okay, like now that guy doesn't know what to do. And it like they don't think about the effect that it has on the pitcher. If you take a guy's best pitch and you spoil it, all right, he's gonna make a mistake at some point.
Right.
Like battle him by foul pitches off. get a knock here or there. The guy doesn't know how to pitch you now. You make a more challenging out. If I'm a more challenging out, the pitcher's pressing. If the pitcher's pressing is going to make a mistake. And maybe because I took that single the other way in a 0-2 count on his slider in the first at bat, it sets me up in the second at bat for him to now come to my strength because I beat him on his best pitch. He makes a mistake and I go downtown freaking 1-0 because the guy doesn't know how to pitch. But like the impact of having more quality at bats on a pitcher and on the game itself, it doesn't mean I'm up there just trying to slap the ball around. Like there is a process to, dude, 0-0, 0-1, 1-1, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-0, 3-1. I'm raking the baseball. Okay, I'm doing damage, especially 0-0. Okay, 0-0, I'm smashing baseballs. Okay.
Yep.
I get to 2 strikes, I'm still going to hit the ball really hard, but I'm going to have an approach that's going to allow me to find barrel and piss off the pitcher and put pressure on. And I'm not putting pressure on the defense. They say that's a high school terminology. I'm going to put pressure on the defense. They're big league defenders.
Yeah.
You hit the ball on the ground, you're probably going to get out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm still trying to drive the ball, but maybe I'm trying to hit a ball on a line in a gap instead of trying to hit it out of the ballpark. And guess what? I'm a big leaguer. I spend all off season in the weight room. I can lift the whole weight room because I'm a freak animal of an athlete. And I go 2-strike approach, find barrel. And because I found barrel, holy crap, I ran that ball out of the yard. Like, by accident.
Right. I'll tell you what, man, coming from like the from the pitcher's standpoint though, those guys that you talk about that spoil those pitches, like we sometimes, man, and I do this too, even being a perfectionist as a pitcher, like we get to that point where, you know, we're 0-2, 1-2 in very good pitching counts to get a strikeout, and they just keep fouling off. We almost get in that frame of mind where it's just like, F it, dude. Here's a ball, like middle down. Just put it in play,
right.
Dude. My pitch
like,
count's running up.
Out.
Yeah, because as a starter, dude, now it's like you're getting pulled after freaking 5 innings. You got a quality start stat that's only allows you to go 6. So you're like, okay, I gotta make my stats look good because I'm in the minor leagues. I'm in AA. I know I got a long way to go. So now I gotta. There's a lot that goes into it, man. As you know, I'm not telling you anything you don't. But even from just the pitcher's mindset. You know, those guys that have the ability to just sell out and just go, boop, nope. I can't imagine how frustrating it is to face Joey Votto, you know, where it's like you get into that point where you're just like, dude, here it is, middle. I know I'm 1-2, but F it. Like, let's go. Get out of the box. I don't care if you get on or whatever.
The at-bat that sticks out into my mind is Mookie hitting the grand slam.
Oh, what was it, 12, 13?
It was like a 12 or 13 pitch at bat. And he hit a grand slam, like that. I mean, that in itself, right there, bro. Like, that's it. Like, and because what happened? He battled. He wasn't taking a quote unquote like G-hack home run swing, like just trying to go nuke mode.
Yeah.
He has a swing that and an approach that if a guy makes a mistake, he's not going to miss it.
Yeah.
And that's like when hitters, that's why I was talking about the BP approach and just what we're trying to do. Like, I want to make your job as a pitcher really hard. I don't want to make it easy. Like, I don't want to miss. Because if I miss mistakes, you know, then like now, wow, hitting got really, really hard because you guys don't make very many of them.
Yeah.
But if I can piss you off because I hit your pitch that like you threw it where you wanted, and I still got a knock, oh, boy.
Yep.
Like, now that guy's mad.
Now we're mad for the next guy. Probably got to leave one a little bit elevated.
And then, boom.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah, quicksand.
And again, that's the mental side of it. It's like, but again, it's situation to situation. Like, if I go up there, like I said, with a runner on base, you know, first and second, first and third, less than 2 outs, and I'm like, hey, okay, I just want to put a ball in play. Great job, buddy. You just ran yourself out of an inning. Like, that's stupid. Okay. But if I go up there and and runner at third less than 2 is like, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, that run has to score.
Yeah.
Period. End of subject. that run. And if you look at the best offenses in baseball, go to the Astros and the Red Sox and look at the percentage of times they got a runner in from third base with less than 2 outs, I guarantee you it's some of the highest percentages in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, dude, I want to is it okay if we dive into one last thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Dude, we can talk about a bunch.
I'm the same. I just looked at the timer, bro, and it's like I'm hour 30 already. But anyways,
holy, are you serious?
So the last thing, and then I'll sign you off. But we touched on it, I think, like in the first part of the show about barrel acceleration, and we also touched on a little bit later about how, you know, as a player you called it getting big over swinging, and I think there's a fine line, right? Because every player, every hitter knows in today's day and age that, you know, home runs matter and that those are the guys that get paid or whatever. So that kind of brings about this mentality of I have to swing out my shoes, you know, because we're seeing these players that swing hard and have these exit velos and blah, blah, blah. So if you can, man, talk about that fine line of having efficient barrel acceleration, but at the same time, not over swinging, not getting out of your approach, not throwing off alignment, or you know, whatever you want to kind of call it. If you could dive in for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest thing for that is, like, I want to hit the ball really hard. I want to hit the ball as hard as I can. Like that's the intent. That's the intent to do damage. I want to hit the ball as hard as possible, as often as possible. Okay. But when it's right, and I love hearing this every day in the cages when it clicks for guys, they will smash a ball, break their records, and they'll look at me and go, felt like I didn't do anything. and it's because what it is where and when energy is created and released. Okay? So all of my energy needs to be created throughout the gather and then the swing itself. Like you're literally still loading while you start to swing. Okay, so then when I actually release the barrel to the ball, it is exactly that. It is a release of energy, not a creation of energy. What I see, and you say, you know, getting big or over swinging or whatever, is when the front side of the body, the back, front shoulder, and arms start to take over in the swing, and we feel like we're swinging hard. Okay, so because we feel energy and tension while the barrel is going to the ball, versus the opposite was we created stretch, tension, and kinetic energy throughout the pre-swing process, and then we just let it go.
Yeah.
And that's and you can relate it to pitching. If you're overthrowing, if you're overthrowing, your sequence gets off and you slow down. Right. Yeah. So that's why I want to feel like I'm not swinging hard, but in reality, I really am. And if you ask those big league guys, you see, just take those hacks. They're like, yeah, you know, I'm trying to stay controlled. Quite, they look like they're swinging out of their shoes. Yeah. But they're really, what they feel versus what it looks like is different. And that's where the swing power is generated from the ground up. Yep. Okay, I'm creating torque from the ground up. That torque is going to come up through my core and then get released out. So the number one thing I'm trying to do in the mechanics of it is create resistance. So for me, my highest effort level in my swing is the back side of my body, of my upper body, especially my back. And we talk about scap and scap stabilization, all that technical stuff. It is the highest effort level is from there, resisting my lower half turn. Yeah, resisting the hip turn. Exactly. And that's where my effort is. I'm trying to hold it against it so that when I go to actually swing, I just let go. Yep. Boom. And it just rubber band. Goes. That's that rubber band. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing from the pitching side, man. And like, that's something that I harp on a lot is like, you talk about energy. That's kind of a terminology that I use as well, is we're creating force into the ground, which gives us energy back into our body. Then what I also like to talk about is like delaying that hip shoulder separation to a point where you're stretching out that elasticity of that band, and you're pretty much defying gravity as you go down the mound. And then at that last second, it's not necessarily at that last second you're trying to create more energy. You're just freaking letting it go and snapping it. And then that's where we talk about that whip, right? Like that guy's got that whippy arm. Like, holy crap, he
disperses a lot of power and energy. And that's all we're trying to do, especially from the hitting standpoint, is how can we have the highest power output, right? And that's kind of exactly what you're talking about right now.
Yeah, exactly. And so then when you really see it show up, and I made a post about, I think I made a couple posts about it, and I talk about the barrel pivoting.
Mm-hmm.
When you actually slow it down, like frame by frame, there's a point in the swing when everything is connected, and you talk about the kinetic chain, and you can see the hands, especially the front hand, actually pause in space, and the barrel accelerates past the hands. Okay, and what that is that's the last piece of the kinetic chain, delivering energy through the core, out the arms, and then creating that whip of the barrel, where if my hands are still traveling while the barrel is getting delivered to the ball, and you don't get that last piece, you don't create leverage, you don't create barrel acceleration. So when all that lines up, you'll literally see it's like everything starts to turn, the hands are connected, the hands start to disconnect slightly, off the shoulder to start to cover the plate, and then you'll see a slight pause, and the barrel starts to accelerate, and it really accelerates past through the zone, and then your arms are actually getting pulled to extension. The energy that you create will pull your arms off your body, like there's an imaginary force out in front of you pulling your arms and barrel through the zone versus you pushing your arms to the baseball.
Yep. There's that fine line of what the difference is there. Same with pitching too, because you don't want to push the ball.
Exactly. So when you get that feeling, that barrel unfolds and pulls you through extension, and you'll see guys, it looks like their shoulders are getting pulled out of socket through extension. Yeah. It's like, there it is.
And it's creating that feeling, and especially as a player, like replicate it's understanding, okay, what did that feel like? What was my cue within that? And then how can I repeat that, right?
100%. That's all it is find the feeling, then find an internal cue that allows you to repeat it every single time.
Yeah.
When you find those two things, then you add the approach to it, and now you're going to go.
It sounds so easy, don't it?
It does say it's yeah. I wish it was that easy. You guys make it really, really hard on us. So, but yeah, that's it, man. It's barrel acceleration is created from your body, not your arms.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, there are hitters at the big league level, and there are hitters that have played in the big leagues before that were arm-generated bat speed guys, but they were so talented and so strong, they were able to get to the big league level and have some type of success doing it that way.
I'm thinking of Gary Sheffield. What do you got?
Nah, Sheffield's a core guy, man.
Yeah, Vlad Guerrero?
Core guy.
Okay.
If you name a Hall of Famer, they're going to be you will not find an arm guy that's a Hall of Famer.
Who are you thinking about arm guy-wise? I just put you on the spot.
Yeah, man. And don't do this to me because I'm gonna have to go back and watch video. But I don't know why. But the name that sticks out in my head is like an Adam Dunn.
Oh wow, dude, he was a 40 guy a year, 40, 50 guy a year.
But what was his average? And look at his strikeouts.
Maybe in the ones, and then 250 average probably.
Right, because it's more donkey strong, leverage with the forearm, long levers. Donkey swing, long levers, get the head there, and when it's right, it's going really far. But the windows aren't there. And Adam Dunn's a great player, played in the big leagues for a long time.
Yeah, he got good tenure.
But you talk about super efficiency. You look at. Dude, I even go back to like Mickey Mantle. Like, I love watching the old school players, and seeing what they. Yeah, I'm a big Mickey Mantle guy. And you go back to Bonds, and not everybody can hit like Bonds, but even like Sammy Sosa, man.
Yeah.
You go back and break down his swing, it's so freaking efficient. Like, you don't hit 60. I don't care about steroids. You don't hit 60 home runs multiple times in the big leagues.
Efficient swing. Yeah.
Right. Like, it just doesn't happen. So.
What about McGuire? What would you say his swing type was? So he got long levers.
Yeah, he did. He was a long lever guy, super strong. He was the best. My favorite hitters. You want to know my three favorite hitters?
Yeah.
Manny Ramirez, Albert Pujols, and Barry Bonds.
What are the commonalities?
High efficiency, super tight turns. Their initial move to the ball is all the same. Their barrel path is extraordinarily long through the zone, but super efficient in the initial move. They're not arm generated swings. And they all hit high average, high power numbers, extraordinarily consistent, and didn't strike out a lot. And this is something that nobody talks about with Pujols. If you look at his 10-year stretch, the 300 with 30 and 100, he never struck out over 100 times.
Stupid, dude. That's why they call him the machine.
He is, man.
It's unreal.
And it's the efficiency in his movements is the barrel turns behind him, it gets on plane early, and it stays there for a really long time, man.
Dude, how much is that? Like, again, I told you I'd cut you off, but now I'm curious. Like, how much is that, in your opinion, is just, hey, this dude was born with this ability to do these things very efficiently, and how much is it is like this dude like was bad and now worked extremely hard, or is it? I mean, a mixture of both.
You just opened a can of worms.
And part 4 of this episode,
right. So those movements can be trained.
Yeah,
they can be, but that still doesn't mean you're going to hit. And something that we haven't talked about at all that I'm actually like very interested in trying to learn about. You talk about analytics and all the new technology. Something I'm really curious about looking into. And there's guys that are doing it. There's training programs working on it. Is processing speed, not hand-eye coordination, but how fast a hitter's brain processes information.
Oh yeah, brain-body connection.
Right, and so like, hey, my mechanics look just like his. Why is he a better hitter than me?
That's the separator, man.
Like, that's why it's not just a cookie cutter, hey, do this and you're going to hit.
It can't
like,
be, yeah.
You know, and I'm talking with, and I'll use like DJ and Chavis as examples, like when they talk about things that they see when a guy throws a baseball, like it's on a different level, man. Like they see things in slow motion.
Is that just like, God-given? Like, is it like a pitcher having a lightning bolt arm?
Yeah, so that part of it is like, man, you know, and sure, I think there's ways that maybe you can work on training your brain to work better, but like being able to, in the moment, in front of 40,000 people, slow a 100-mile-an-hour pitch down and recognize location, spin, speed, and have the mechanics to go along with it. Like, the mechanics can be trained.
Yeah.
But the efficiency with which you can repeat it and then process the information, like, that's the separator, man. Like, that makes the best hitters in the world the best hitters in the world. Yeah, hitters are born. Now, what you don't know is what kind of hitter am I capable of being if my mechanics are flawless. And that's why we chase mechanics. Is you take a guy like Justin Turner or in JD Martinez, like, so maybe they're super high processing guys, their visual acuity and then hand-eye coordination is on a different level, but their mechanics are inefficient. And all of a sudden you give them the tools to have much more efficient mechanics and they become superstars.
Yeah, like that was kind of I forget his first name, but Taylor for the D-backs.
Chris Taylor.
Like, I mean, these are guys that came up and failed. And then, you know.
So then why can't everybody do that? Well, It's because maybe those guys had intangibles that were already there, but they didn't have the mechanical side of it to go with it.
Right.
And now you add the mechanical piece and all of a sudden they're a freak.
Yeah.
Well, what about the guy that's in the minors that has flawless mechanics, but he's still not hitting?
Mm.
You know, that's an approach standpoint. That's a pitch recognition standpoint. That's a mental processing standpoint. That's handling pressure on a day-to-day basis. You know, those are all the intangibles that it can't just be. And that's why I tell guys, hey, your hit tracks numbers are great, but can you hit? Congrats.
Can you be a hitter?
I'll take a guy, and my college coach will tell you this, like, I don't care about your hit tracks numbers. Can you hit? Like, you need to pass the eye test of, I need to watch you play. Like, if you could go into BP and you hit the ball 100 miles an hour and 400 feet, congratulations, okay? But can you do it against a guy trying to get you out? Can you hit?
Because there's a difference.
And so there is a giant difference.
Yeah.
And so that's where the numbers are great as a teaching tool, because, hey, man, don't trust me. Look what's happening.
Yep.
Okay. But at the same time, you have to use that in a specific way to make sure that it's going to be applicable in a game situation. And so am I going to take that guy that can 3 out of 10 swings, hits a ball 100 and 400 feet in BP? Or am I going to take that guy that hits it 94 every single time in any pitch location? And you know what? I'm probably going to take that guy.
That's the beauty of the game, right? Because the game, at the end of the day, we could talk about data analytics, we could talk about swing mechanics, we could talk about pitch mechanics, we could talk about all this stuff. But at the end of the day, the game is going to tell you if you're good or not.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, dude. I will not take up any more of your time. I really appreciate you coming on, man. This has been great.
I feel like we've been talking for 10 minutes.
Dude, I'm the
Like,
same
I'm not
way.
kidding. Like,
That's why I have to do a timer. I have to, or else, like, especially guys that come on the show and we're talking to, like, obviously like-minded individuals, right? It just you go until, and if I don't have the timer, dude, like. But hey, I do want to say congratulations. You have been the Robby Rose Show's longest podcast. So
Let's go. And you know what's bad? I feel like there's a bunch of stuff that I didn't talk about.
Bro, I'm looking at because I did some notes before I came on. There were some things that, like nitty gritty detail things that we didn't touch on. So, dude, in the future, you're coming back on, man. We'll have to figure out a time for you to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll block off, like a 6-hour time slot and go from there.
Got it.
Yeah.
So in closing, man, tell my audience where they can find you as far as like social medias. If you got a website, you can shout that out, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually, so it's Outfront Hitting, Instagram handle. And just to touch on that, man, like I'm very new to the social media thing. I've been extremely blessed with how it's gone. Just to give a little background, Thanksgiving Day I had 700 followers, and I think I woke up this morning with almost 27,000.
I just saw that, and it's funny, dude. Like a side story, I screenshotted your profile and threw it on my Instagram story, telling everyone that you're coming on the show. And like I'm looking at my phone right here, and I got like maybe 6 or 7 notifications saying like, "Oh, dude, that guy's the man!" Like, pumped to listen to this episode. So hey, dude, you're doing good things, man. So keep up the good work over there.
Well, I appreciate that. And so something I'm actually in the process of working. I met with a web developer last week. I'm creating a website because I've just been overwhelmed with the requests to start doing like online training and online video reviews to make it cost effective and really efficient for players to, hey, coach, can you take a look at my video? And do it really easily that way. So I'm in the process of building that website. So, you guys be looking out for that. It'll be up hopefully in the next 2 weeks or so. I'm going to be building as I go, but I want to get it up and running here, maybe before the end of the month. So guys can start, because I love helping hitters, man. I love seeing guys that have passion for the game. They want to get better and being able to help them out and their career improve because of that. That's why I do what I do.
Bro, absolutely. I mean, I'm the same. Like, I do that same thing on my website as far as like from the pitching side, and that's the beauty of the technology. It allows us to do that. Like, I get, people pay for analysis and they send me like 2 videos, and like I'm able to slow that down, draw on the dang thing, and like it's a good tool to utilize, especially with all the technology that we have. But do you have a website URL that maybe I could throw in the show notes, and when that shoot me a text when that launches, and
it'll be outfronthitting.com.
Oh, that's
so
simple.
Yeah, luckily I got real lucky that
domain was available.
It was available. So it'll be outfronthitting.com. Like I said, it's not up right this second. The facility that I train out of currently is in Keego Harbor, Michigan, which is outside of Detroit, and that's BKC baseball. So guys that are in the local area, or I've actually got players. I got one coming Monday that's going to fly in from Utah. That's coming in for 3 days to do 3 days worth of lessons. Yeah, so I am open to that. I love having guys from all over the country if they have the means and the time to come in and work with me. Love seeing guys. And then, like I said, it's BKC baseball. It's me and it's actually DJ's former high school coach started that when I first moved up here. So
is that on Instagram or is that a website?
That's a website.
Okay.
That's a website.
Yep.
That's where people can go on like to register for lessons or whatever.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool, man. Well, Casey, appreciate your time, dude. I'll sign you off the air.
Yep, my pleasure, man. Really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
No doubt. Thanks, dude. Yo, so that will conclude the 3-part podcast episode with Casey Smith. Obviously, it goes without saying. I mean, the dude's doing it. So make sure that if you are a young, aspiring major league hitter, college hitter, whatever, if you just like hitting, do yourselves a huge favor. Go to his Instagram. Make sure you follow it. Turn on post notifications, all that stuff. Make sure you just surround yourself with all of the quality information that you have, or he presents. With that being said, so if you like the episode, a couple things. Be sure to leave a review. Help me out a little bit. Increase the awareness of the podcast that I'm doing. And then increase the awareness on your end, too, by sharing it amongst your followers, your audience. The whole goal is to spread the insights and the information that I have on the show to as many people as possible. So if you guys can do me a favor and share it to whoever listens to you guys, that'd be great. So hope you guys have a great day. Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll talk soon.